Hey everyone, it's Christina Holloway here. So today we're going to talk about what it means to deal with somebody who tries to ruin your reputation at work. This particular example is all about one instance. So not if somebody's repeatedly trying to undermine you. However, you can use this approach each time this happens if it becomes pervasive. So I have a client. He's a senior consultant. He's got a lower level position and he's working his way to being a manager, and he really loves his job and he wants to do great things. They put him on a great project with an executive team and one of the executive directors who was in charge of the project. And so he got FaceTime with this person. He got in front of this person who is a leader on the project and has great visibility, somebody that you want to impress, somebody you want to work with, and it went south pretty quick. So what happened was he got on a call with this executive director. He explained, these are the parameters by which we're going to do these tasks. This is how we're going to outline it. We're moving forward this way, and these are going to be my roles and responsibilities. And it seemed pretty straightforward. However, the executive director saw things in a very different way. So when my client moved forward with doing the tasks, the executive director came back and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you screwed this up," and then proceeded to say these statements which were damaging. "You're trying to undermine me. You're being selfish. You did all of this to make me look bad, and I can't believe that you would behave this way." Now, my client immediately explained, that is not my intention. He was very surprised that was the way he responded. But the executive director said, "I don't believe you." I think if you're watching this video, you've been on the receiving end of a similar situation. So all I want to do in terms of coaching is make sure that you feel protected. So it is critically important how you handle an accusation like this going forward. You do want to at least clear the air with this person. Now, what makes it complicated is that person is a couple of levels above you. So they clearly have authority and they have influence over your career. If a person is vindictive, they can do things to undermine you. So you do want to grab this early and take care of it very early, as soon as somebody makes a statement like this. I worked with my client on a framework, and it was just 3 steps. So the first step is, in terms of mindset, we need to understand that when a person makes statements like this, they're doing it because they've been through a previous experience where this probably played out for them and it didn't go well for them. Therefore, they're projecting. So the first thing is, do not take this personally. When they say statements like that, they clearly are trying to play out something that happened in the past, and they're trying to change the outcome, which means they jumped in front of it sooner and probably regretted in the past that they didn't see signs earlier. So now, anytime they see something that seems like a red flag, they're going to jump on it and accuse, because that's them getting in front of it. So the first thing is, clearly the person doing the accusations, like this executive director, didn't deal with the problem correctly, and certainly didn't deal with the aftermath correctly if they're constantly accusing other people of these things. Fine. That's the first step. The second step, get your supervisor involved. Why? Because we're not talking about your boss making these accusations to you. We're talking about somebody else in the company with more authority making these accusations. So you do want to get in front of your supervisor, and if you have a very healthy relationship with your boss, you can sit down and say, something went wrong. I understand where things went south. I want to do what I can to correct it. I'm not so sure about these accusations. They feel like they're very personal, and I don't want this to affect my reputation at work. Anytime anybody makes accusations against you, your integrity and your reputation, you have to address it immediately. You don't want to ignore it, because believe me, when we're looking at conflict, we easily want to just sweep it under the rug and say, oh, that just won't happen again, or I'll do everything I can to change so that this doesn't happen again. But the bigger implication is, it is not okay to attack who you are as a way of dealing with conflict. So that has to be addressed. So the second part is asking for a 3-way meeting, bringing in somebody who's in between your levels so that person can mediate the call, and then make sure that you address this is what happened and why it happened, and then that your supervisor can say, I can at least verify that there are no underhanded actions happening here with my employee. This is about culture as well. If you have an executive director who feels that they have free rein to make accusations like this and they can just have temper tantrums during major projects, that's an indication it's not a very healthy culture, and you certainly don't want to be in front of those people, and avoid them if you can. And then the third step here is to ask for action going forward. What are we going to do to eliminate this situation again? So you're asking this executive director, well, you're the one who made these accusations. How do you expect us to solve this problem? And that executive director should be able to come back and say, maybe we have somebody else review his material before he submits it. Or maybe he should be shadowing somebody else until he gets his feet under him. If this person calms down and is rational, they could come up with a number of solutions. The other potential is this person is not calm, this person is not rational, and they're going to stick by the accusation. In which case, you can also take steps to protect yourself by making sure you've documented your side of it and sending it to your supervisor, and making sure it's part of your professional development plan. Just make sure you've cleared the air, make sure you've addressed it, make sure you've apologized only for miscommunicating, not for their accusation. And make sure that going forward you copy somebody or create a paper trail, or that you're not alone with that person in terms of communication or having meetings or anything else where they can just accuse you of things. Now, if you are alone with them on a phone call where they're trying to accuse you of things, always shut it down. Just tell them, these kind of accusations make me uncomfortable. I don't feel comfortable being on a phone call with you. I'm going to have to drop off the call. I don't appreciate these accusations. Use some form of statement. You don't have to use all the statements that I've said, but use something that protects you, where you feel like I have just established boundaries and I am not moving forward with a conversation like this, or being on a call with somebody who constantly devolves into calling me names or accusing me of things I didn't do. That's a toxic person at work. Make sure that you protect yourself from toxic people. If you have to leave the project, leave the project. If you have to leave the company, start taking steps to leave the company. If you need to protect yourself, involve someone who is an impartial third party who can listen and give you good advice. I don't know the parameters by which the company works. You could be in a bad culture. You could be working for one person who's just a bad egg. You could have a supervisor who's not that great and isn't going to do much to protect you. You have to figure out your situation, but absolutely do something to take steps to say, I can separate the two. One was my actions that may have backfired, and two, my integrity, which no one's going to attack that. No one's going to make me feel lesser than just because I made a mistake. That is the very important distinction here, which is you cannot be belittled or accused of things or chipped away at your confidence just because you made a mistake. Don't be bullied. This was bullying behavior. Know and understand how to speak up for yourself in a stressful situation when someone is being a bully. Beyond that, you want to start documenting that behavior. You can just document it for yourself. At this date, on this time, I'm writing it down. This is the conversation, so that you start to have a file of a person who's behaving that way. Like I said in the beginning, this is about a one-off. However, now, if you're dealing with a person who bullies you, you need to start documenting it, and you need to start bringing it to someone's attention so that you can make sure that the appropriate people know and understand, one, this is inappropriate behavior, and two, it is starting to affect the quality of work. This is also about a healthy work environment. And if somebody's bullying you or constantly deflects their own insecurities onto you, you have to address it. It isn't easy. Okay, so that's it for this video. It is kind of a heavy topic, and I do want to hear from you. If you're struggling and you have a very specific situation, go ahead and put it in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.